For the best part of a decade, Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes have been dominating Formula One since the post-2013 V6 turbo hybrid era brought about an identity crisis, with the German manufacturer winning a record 7 double championships in a row. With Max Verstappen Drivers' Championship in 2021, the Hamilton and Mercedes stranglehold on the double championship has ended with one of the closest and fiercest fights for decades. The midfield teams have been able to fight at the top as well occasionally. After 7 years of regulation tweak, F1 is finally competitive again, and this season has been supercharged by the battle at the front. In 2021, F1 has stumbled upon a perfect formula, and we're going to look at how it came about. The battle between Hamilton and Verstappen is the main draw. Plenty of drama, several crashes, and a heap of controversy, and very little to choose between two best drivers on the grid. In the past 3 seasons, Hamilton's dominance has largely gone unnoticed. Since Nico Rosberg's retirement in 2016, Hamilton only had flawed challenges from Sebastian Vettel in 2017 and 2018, and that evaporated in the second half of the season. Yet since 2018, Verstappen has been rated as probably the second best driver on the grid after Hamilton. The Dutchman's resistance this season has been substantial and robust. Some might say too robust, but nobody has offered the most successful driver in F1 quite as much competition. In 2021, he was finally given a car that could compete at the front in every race. Their fight up there was the enduring battle in F1 over many years. The gap to their teammates, as good as Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez are in both qualifying and races, underline their supremacy. This year, as they've been so closely matched at nearly every race, according to the former F1 driver Anthony Davidson, it's a rivalry to compete with the very best. For this generation that missed out on Prost Senna, this is it, he says. This is what it's like to... But this is what it was like. It was super tense. You never know who was going to come out top. It was ruthless. That's what we're seeing now. It's 2 drivers driving to the absolute best of their abilities, which was somehow elevated them to this new level where they're untouchable. I think it's almost as if Lewis versus his younger self in many ways. Every attack move he tries to block with every counter attack, and it's pure entertainment. The Senna-Prost comparison is pertinent. Their rivalry was defined by wheel banging and intrigue. And this has been repeated and even better by Hamilton and Verstappen in the space of 10 months. There have been several season-defining moments with clashes at Silverstone, Saudi Arabia and Monza, by far the most memorable, but also bumping wheels at Bahrain, Imola, Spain, Portugal and France, and of course the cleaner but debatable final round. For the most of the season, it is Verstappen who has been more aggressive, Hamilton willing or having to back down on several occasions. Saudi Arabia was the Dutchman's approach in extreme. I think he's certainly someone who pushed the envelope all season long, said Karun Chandok. Max is obviously willing to exploit every trick in the book. I think Lewis generally seems to be a cleaner in wheel-to-wheel racing. The final 2 races of the year was where an especially messy situation through Abu Dhabi was little to fault either driver, unlike in Saudi Arabia. There was no doubt about the drama of this season. The Senna-Prost clashes in 89 and 90, long in the memory, as do Michael Schumacher's incident with Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve in 1994 and 1997. The clashes that define eras. The 2 men are also vastly different personality. Verstappen has a ruthless edge and is reminiscent of Senna and Schumacher. His reaction to his penalties in Jeddah was confusion at what he did even wrong. Uncompromising is a word that counts out of option. People like Mocha and Max said Karun Chandok, they're not willing to give an inch. It's this sort of, this is my place and I've earned it. That's what he's like. Hill also has doubts about Verstappen's style on the Sky Sports Pundit. This isn't go-kart, this is F1. There's a certain standard to which we aspire. F1 is not meant to be a contact sport, it's meant to be a demonstration of skill and judgment. This has led to numerous debates over penalties and on-track conduct. Some find it boring, but some feel like it's going to give an F1 a new lease of life. To appreciate how excellent this season has been, you really need to put it into context of what F1's endured since 2014. There will be a deserving appreciation for Hamilton Mercedes' enduring brilliance, but it's impossible to overlook how lopsided and 7 successful championships have been, and how much they have dulled the appeal of F1. From 2014 to end of 2020, Mercedes won 111 races and Hamilton 73 of a possible 138. We all got bored of arriving at a racetrack and knowing probably who's going to win, and it's just been a case of how much. In most seasons since 2013, Mercedes walked to the Constructors' Championship while Hamilton racked up the points, getting better as the season progressed. In his 6 titles with Mercedes, he won 5 of them before the final race of the season. The team's winning percentage has dramatically dropped this year from an average of 80.4% from 2014 to 20 to just 40.1% this year. This is not to say anything about Mercedes, but their unchallenged dominance was bad for the sport. For years, the teams outside of the big three, Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari, were jokingly referred to as Class B or Formula 1.5. So large was the gap in the performance spread. The spread of podium finishes and wins this season has been desperately needed. In the 118 races from 2014 to 2019, Mercedes won 86, Ferrari won 17 and Red Bull won 15. The big three had a near monopoly of the second and third steps on the podium. Of a possible 363 podium spots, Mercedes got 179, Ferrari got 92 and Red Bull got 66, taking almost 93%. The next best was Williams was 15. This is not what an interesting championship should look like over 6 years. In 2021, 6 drivers have won, the most since 2012's 8. McLaren have finally ended their 9-year drought. 13 drivers have finished on the podium, the equal most since 2012. For the first time since 2009, more than 7 teams have had a car finish in the top 3, while Esteban Ocon's victory in Hungary owes much to a strange set of circumstances. Daniel Ricciardo's win in Monza is a good example of a more competitive field. He qualified 5th, ended the sprint qualifying in 3rd and took the lead at the start, holding behind quick cars. In previous years, he would have been easy meat for teams like Mercedes. And also we had a near miss of Lando Norris. How did this come to be? The performance gap was one thing, but in the 90s and 2000s it was not uncommon for 10, 11, 12, 13 drivers to feature on the podium, even with shorter seasons. A big part of that was reliability. In recent years, reliability has improved greatly. This has been it's been an important part of motor racing. Jeopardy for the sports to be shared more evenly, then performance gaps had to be close, and that has happened this year due to the different development dilemma, according to Anthony Davidson. With regulations overhaul due for next year, the teams faced a dilemma: did they spend money and resources on one final push, or did they prioritise a new era? Most teams are focusing on next year. It meant that there was been a lack of development on this year's cars, and that helped the level playing field, especially with the top teams. It could be closer, yes, but given the necessary limitations, this is much closer to the idea of what F1 should look like. Not everyone can be a winner for too long. It has been a distant dream. With talent driving scrapping for minor points, paying positions. For too long, F1 has suffered an identity crisis, nearly exclusively unavailable on free-to-air TV in the UK and many other territories. The sport was at risk of sliding into irrelevance, appealing to fewer and fewer fans, with just die-hard enthusiasts remaining. Too technical, too hard to understand, uncompetitive and lacking mass appeals. In the past few years, this has changed. The success of Drive to Survive has been a boom. The tension, drama and quality of racing on offer this season has helped to turbocharge the growing interest from returning or casual fans. F1 is finally making inroads to the US. Next year there will be 2 races in America. The unpredictable gripping Hamilton v Verstappen duel has been the headline act. There has not been a season like it in the social media age. There are other stars who have deservedly achieved high billing too. You could have captivating characters like Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, George Russell and Fernando Alonso. The stars who have come to the floor, and it just needs to be unbound to have more at stake than just the odd top 6 finish. Their talent deserves it. Yet however captivating the characters on stage are, however popular or unpopular, they must be backed even on track. This season has been, and no doubt the numerous debatable decisions by FIA has helped this too. 2021 has been a special season, though not without its problems. For F1 to flourish, it needs to be the start of a special era and not a one-off season. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Leave your thoughts, comments down below. Follow on Twitter, link description below for daily F1 news, and subscribe to my channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.